What we're avoiding to talk about here is the toxic traits that can come about on both sides of the relationship, right? Let's say we find the ideal person. However, that ideal person is a high value man, right? And as in the teaser that we cut, you said high value men have options. How would you define cheating in a relationship? And I'm going to ask you the same thing.
Are you coming to me first?
Yeah.
Wow, this is fun.
This is.
Okay, so what I meant by that was like, when we talk about, look, cheating's cheating. I don't condone it. Okay, I'm not for it. I was using a comparison analogy. If a woman cheats, and I say this, and this is actually a benefit for women. Very few women go, oh, I need to go get some dick. I'm going to go fuck somebody. Women aren't like that. Women want to build an emotional connection, and I respect that. And also, they want to get to know the guy. Men, what I said when men cheat is not as bad. Hear me out. Hear my heart, not my words. This is where you have to have thick skin and a soft heart. If I'm in love with a woman, and I'm a high value man, remember, biologically, we were put here on earth for one reason, to procreate. 7 billion people in the world weren't all built by being monogamous, okay? They just weren't. Now, I'm not condoning it. What I'm saying is this. If I go out and I'm in love with a woman in a relationship, and all of a sudden here comes, the hottest thing since apple pie, right? Whatever. You can pick an actress. You can pick Kim Kardashian if you think she's hot. I don't care who it is. And she is an opportunity where a man's put in that situation, and he slams it. He hits it. Fucks her, right? Does he not love his woman any less? No. She didn't mean shit to him. It was a desire and a need that was biologically wired into him. If a woman does it, she's built some type of connection with a man. She's been talking to the man over time. It was a work husband. It was that guy friend that was on standby, the orbiter, waiting around. It's 10 times worse because she didn't just go out one day and say, oh, look at this hot, sexy Jason Momoa. He wants to fuck me. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. It's very rare. But guys, you take a 10, which is paid for her looks, famous model, and she's in a room in lingerie, 9 times out of 10, the dude's going to hit the skins. Oh, you don't love me. No, he still loves his woman, but he's wired differently. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's the facts and the reality. And I deal with multi-millionaires, 7, 8, 9-figure men. I'm counseling a famous rapper. I hear the stories. I know what's going on. And so I'm here to share with you the facts and the reality that when you're dealing with high-value men, the chances of monogamy are slim, very slim, because he has all the options he wants because all the women are competing for him. Does that make sense? If you line up 100 guys, 10% of those men are fucking, the other 90 aren't. And women think, oh, all these guys are. No, they're not. They're not even having sex at all. Women have more access to men like never before. Right now with all the social media. And I don't. And
so
hold on.
Okay.
You're an attractive woman. Okay? Fair to say. If you got on the phone right now, you could go have sex right now. Do you know how hard it is for a man? Very difficult. Very difficult. And even a mediocre looking woman, a 4, she can do that. A 3. Guys, unless you have a blue check mark and you're Drake, it's very hard to step out and say, hey, I'm going to get laid tonight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, you took it to the length of like what people would consider cheating, right? Sex. Now, I feel like maybe this might come from a woman's side where cheating starts way before that. Does it start with objectifying? Does it start with messaging other people, liking Instagram posts, stuff like that? But that was a very good explanation, Daverick. I will say that was spot on. How do you feel?
I feel like, I think there's men that could agree with this too, that cheating doesn't start at sex. Like, I think cheating starts way before sex actually happens sometimes.
Okay.
And what you were saying as far as like I don't want to say it's validation because I know you did not condone it. And I've never thought you've condoned cheating. Like I've talked to you before. But when you kind of like give that like reasoning out loud to somebody, I feel like it's really hard because you're not talking about communicating with your partner that you need to be in an open relationship and this is just what you do and this is what your needs are. Cheating is betrayal. Cheating is going behind someone's back and literally doing something to them that can completely alter their state of reality for the rest of their life on how they see things, how they develop, how they see relationships, turning into masculine women. You know, there's so much that can happen there from betrayal. And on the counterpart too, men getting cheated on, some of my best friends have had that happen to them, and it's scarred them and it's hurt them for a very, very, very long time. So cheating in general hurts.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying about how women cheat from an emotional standpoint. Normally, if they're cheating, it's because something's been going on in their relationship emotionally where they're not fulfilled, and they're starting to resort to finding that void filled with somebody else,
sure,
which is deeper than just something physical.
Yep.
I completely agree with that. But I don't think that it hurts less, because the betrayals that I've had in my life scarred the fuck out of me.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's not so much even the physical act. It's what went into that. You know, so
Yeah.
I think that statement flares up a lot of emotions,
Sure,
because it's like, well, fuck, is he saying that, like, because I'm a woman and my guy cheated on me, just say whatever because it's a physical skin on skin act? It still does damage. And I think that's where there's like
so
a hard.
So would it be fair to say you want a traditional man in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be fair to say you're a traditional woman?
That I don't know if I can fully say that like 100%. Like, you know how you're saying, like, you can agree with somebody.
Well, I can answer
for the
that.
most part, yes.
Okay, but would a traditional woman have her body half naked on Instagram?
See, that's where I
Okay, but hear me
differ.
out. And he said cheating, liking something. If you're showing your body to men on the daily, okay, and I don't have a problem with what you do,
mm-hmm.
but you're exposing yourself in a sexual way.
Right.
You're condoning that.
I think it's based on the partnership. I think your partner would have to really be comfortable with your line of work.
Okay, but you want a traditional man. You want a traditional man, but see, this is the problem with a lot of modern day women. They don't want to be a traditional woman.
But I do.
Okay, so if you were with a man, the love of your life, and he was the perfect guy that you created, God broke the mold, if you believe
Mm-hmm.
God or not. I'm not here to preach you. And that's the guy who says, Christina, you're in love with me. You do anything for Yep, I'll do anything for you. You do anything for me. I want you to close your Instagram account. Would you do it?
If I didn't have to rely on Instagram for work, and this was the perfect scenario where I knew this was my husband and this is going to be our life, and he wasn't taking away my passions, which I have to be online for competing, I have to be online for my podcast, I have to be doing things with my physical body for my career.
Sure.
I would not take away what makes me Christina.
But then you're not being traditional.
Like I said, I don't think I'm 100% a traditionalist.
Okay.
There are traditional values that I like in my relationship, but I can't tell you that I'm a traditional person, because to me, that's like taking away my essence.
Okay, but why would you take that away from a man? Why should he be traditional to you?
I'm not saying he has to be 100% traditional. I just prefer monogamy in my relationship.
Okay.
As Christina, I think monogamy is sexy, and I like being with one person, and I like that one person being with me sexually.
Since day one, since the dawn of time, men, even like Solomon, had 700 wives, 300 concubines. Men have never been monogamous. We just were forced that way by the social society, right? Biblically, morally, or ethically.
Yeah, I'm not here to say any of those things never happened.
But I'm just saying, if that guy's traditional, he's going to be loyal to you. See, you're not. My point is this: is you're trying to find this guy, or maybe you have that guy, but then you're not willing to give up what it takes to you see, it's not a fair exchange.
I never said I wouldn't be able to give up certain things to meet in the middle for the relationship that I want to be in, that's providing me the container that I would like. If that, like me and my boyfriend currently have had these discussions about certain things, because there's certain things that he likes, doesn't like, and same here.
Sure.
But we're going to meet in the middle, because there to me is no like black and white way to run relationships anymore. There really isn't. There's so many ways, whether it's open, whether it's 80-20, whether it's completely monogamous, where it's polyamorous. Like there's so many ways. So you really have to find what works for you and your partner. That may be combining some traditional ideologies with also some more maybe off the cuff ways of living. And for me, my partner is not intimidated with the way I am on Instagram. It doesn't bother him, but there are lines and there are boundaries that I would never cross, and I would never do that because I know it would upset him. So we have to kind of meet in the middle with certain things. But as far as like traditional roles, as like if this became a marriage, let's just say, and we got into a position where he's like, I don't want you to have to bartend anymore. I don't want you to have to cocktail anymore. If that container was able to provide me with that shelter to know I'm safe, 100%. But I've also been in relationships where I let all of those guards down. I became that person that took care of completely everything at home. Basically the traditional role. I still had a part-time job, but that backfired in my fucking face because I lost all my sense of self, all of who I was. The ways I made money were like, just take a break, Christina, rely on me. And then bad shit happens.
Right.
So you kind of have to take things a little bit slower before you allow somebody to take complete control.
Sure.
You have to just you have to ease into it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you can't just be a woman and be like, he's got it. Sure. With like 6 months, 12 months of knowing them. And like, yeah, he makes all this money and he has these cars and he can take care of me. He's not going to let me fall and just believe it anymore. Because unfortunately there are a lot of unhealed people who don't know how to have that feminine woman that they say they want without stomping all over her.
Right. But you choose that too. You choose who you're with.
Oh, 100%.
Right,
I'm just saying you have to be careful when entering in relationships now because it's not just like you can give it all up because then you're left with nothing and they're moving on to the next younger, prettier, fitter person because you know what? I'm kind of done with her. And then what are we left with?
Well, first of all, if you're married, you're left with about 70% of assets.
If you're married.
If you're married. If you're not, and you're in a relationship with me and my girlfriend, I put her in my trust. Because we're married, but we're not with a contract.
But see, you're giving her a safety, right?
Right,
like
right.
you're providing a container for her where she can trust you.
But if you're not married, like you just said, and you're married, then it is about money because there's a contractual agreement with the state. And you're guaranteed money. And so when women say it's not about money, it is about money. It's about security.
Yes.
It is about security. That's my point. So anytime you're out there looking for that perfect fit, it's always about, hey, how secure am I going to be financially?
Well, you have to think about those things.
And that requires a lot of money.
Yeah. And I think that there's maybe this is the side where we talk to women about the things to look out for too, because looks aren't going to just be it for you. Just because he has a nice car and the looks doesn't mean that's going to be your perfect fit. I find, and this is the problem and where I'm trying to figure out why this is happening on the men's side, at least, is there are men who they get in relationships with women and say they want a monogamous relationship, right? You're the one, I'm monogamous to you. But then they change their mind and they start cheating behind her back.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? With these men, are these what type of men are you talking about?
Well, and this is what I'm getting at. Like when you define a true healthy alpha male, these are not them. And what I feel like some people get attached to is like, yeah, I'm an alpha male, and they have no idea what that means. They have no idea how to be that, how to be open, honest with themselves and communicate with their partner what they actually need. Because I'll tell you what, if my partner had told me, Christina, I can't be monogamous, I need multiple partners to be happy, I would have chose not to be with this person.
Yeah, but he was.
So where do the lies come from?
He also wasn't that old of a man. He was a younger man.
True.
Okay.
But do you really think that doesn't happen with older men too? Because I see it happen all the time.
It does, but it also based on the option. I'll say this with clear transparency. And when I say high value man, he's got a network, a circle of influence of individuals that look at him for guidance and advice. He's got a network of individuals that are worth millions of dollars.
He's a leader.
Okay. 95% of those men are going to see other women. You have to accept that or don't. And that's okay. I'm not telling you to accept it. I'm telling you the truth. Most of these guys, why do you think the strip clubs do so good in Vegas? 90% of the men in there are married. 90%. It's not that they don't love their wives, but the reality is they are going to see other women. And you either accept, and I'm not talking about you, Christine. I'm talking about if Drake came in here right now and asked a girl, hey, I want to start dating you. You know, I'm seeing other girls. She wouldn't think twice about it. She wouldn't think twice.
I would.
You would. Right. But 90% of the women be all on Drake like, oh, he's got a girlfriend. It's okay. He's taking me out.
Now, is that really a high quality woman?
It doesn't matter. It's what he wants. But here's my point.
I know. I'm just asking your opinion.
But here's my point. My point is this, is that you need to know the reality. Okay. Don't go for the high type 10% men. Don't. That's okay. And it doesn't mean an average guy is bad, but you have to, it's either A or B.
I just think it's kind of screwed up to call a guy average who is like maybe not the top 10%.
No. When I say average, he doesn't have the accessibility to those women that high value men do. That's the difference. That's the difference. When I say that, and hear me out. Like I told you, 10% of men actually have access to they're the only ones out there they're sexually active. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, I've seen the studies. I've watched
So
the videos. Like I know what you're talking about.
So
I just feel like there's a gray area.
There is a gray area, but I'm just telling you what to expect from a reality perspective. Again, when I say I'm not condoning it.
But you're also speaking to a woman, too, who is not a money chaser. Like, I'm not that person that chases after somebody who has all the money. And that doesn't mean that I don't chase after a high-value man, because to me, my standards of what makes a man high-value are based off things other than money.
Yeah, it is always based off. Yeah.
So, yes, like, that might be the statistic of what that, like, top 10% looks like. But just because maybe I'm not going for those kinds of men, I'm not attracted to those kinds of men because of a certain... I don't know how to explain it, but it's just not my vibe.
But you still don't know what you want.
I do know what I want in a man. It might not be what they have as their career. I just want someone who's passionate about what they do, who loves what they do, who knows who they are, who's doing the work on themselves, and can come together with me and honor the fact that we both have been through whatever we've been through in our lives, and we're going to help each other become the best versions of ourselves, and is doing just as good as me or better. I don't need them to be somewhere high in the sky with their fucking Lambos and their big houses. Is that great? Sure. But that's like the icing on the fucking cake to me.
Sure.
But this is just me personally.
Well, right,
I understand that that's not necessarily like a percentage.